Now, let me deal with this issue, which I want to add my voice to this national debate as to whether Edgar Lungu qualifies or not. And many people have given the reference to a matter that was before the Constitutional Court, and people have said simply give them the judgment they read. I've picked extracts of that judgment for purposes of this analysis, and I wind up. Okay? Now, let me start with the Constitution by mentioning that this particular matter before the Constitutional Court to do with qualifications was basically focusing on about two issues. Primarily focused on the interpretation of Article 106. Article 106, 1, Article 106, sub-Article 3. Now, the contention of the council, the applicant, is that a person who has twice held office as president is not eligible for elections as president. Now, when you go to 1 there, you discover that 5 years or a term is equal to 5 years. There is no argument. And I've heard many people, especially those that are against Sango, they're saying, yeah, President Edgar Lungu did not serve for 5 years. The Constitution is not saying a person who has served for 2 terms. It says who has held office. Twice. Okay? That is the argument. And the court is very careful. Let me go to the... I'll leave it there because of time. Let me go to the next slide, if we can quickly get it with the director there. Now, wow. That in a way, we hope that things could be done properly. Now, this is the judgment. Select the judgment. Now, as you can see, if we can go down there, there was an issue. The issue there was to interpretation of 106. 136, the ones I referred to, and also with reference to Article 267(3) of the Constitution. That is simply explaining what holding office means, meaning a person who holds the authority at that level. People can refer to the Constitution. They can read that Article 267 because I don't have time. Then also, apart from that matter, there was a matter on the eligibility of Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, presidential candidate. Is he eligible? This was the matter before the Constitutional Court. Let me get to the next slide. I want to be very brief. Now, if the director can help us, yes, so that people can see properly. I think the words are too big. I know that there are people with bad sight, but if we can start from the top there. Now, when you take a matter before the court, there are certain things that you are seeking the court to grant you, or they may order, or interpret. Now, these are the things that the applicants were asking for. Number 1, whether His Excellency President Edgar Lungu will have served 2 full terms for purposes of Article 106(3) as read with the Article 106(6) of the Constitution of Zambia at the expiry of his current term. 2, whether as a matter of the constitutional law of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is eligible for election as president for another 5 years term following his current term of office, which commenced on 13th September 2016. Further, any other relief and any costs. Let me go to the final one. This was the judgment. Now, before I go to the judgment, let me deal with this one. As you can see, let me start from the top. I think the page is not helping us there. The top, the first part of, yes, up. Okay. Now, the court delivered this judgment up, yes. This is how the court ended, so that the debate in the country can come to an end. It therefore follows that in the current case, the term served, which sits astride the pre- and post-2016 constitutional amendments, and having looked at the intention of the legislature, as we have done, and the holistic approach we have taken in interpreting Article 106 of the Constitution in its entirety, our answer to the question that we have rephrased as is that the presidential term of office that ran from 25 January 2015 to 13 September 2016 and straddled to constitutional regimes cannot be considered as a full term. Before I go to the next paragraph, let me comment on that one. So the court now has delivered the judgment that that particular period that Lungu served does not constitute a term. Remember we mentioned earlier that a term is 5 years. The court guided in a way. It does not constitute a what? A term. But he has held the office. There's an argument. Now, I don't want to say he has held office because the court is very careful. Let's get back to the last one. I want to deal with the last paragraph. Director, are we there? Yes, here we are. Now, here is where the debate in the country is. This is what the court did not do. As regards the second question posed in the amended originating summons, which is whether the incumbent president is eligible for election as president in 2021 presidential election. Our view is that in the light of the position that we have taken as regards the first question posed in the amended originating summons, the second question has become odious and we shall not consider it. Done. So the argument here is that the court did not say he's eligible. That is what they are saying there. The court has decided not to comment on it, to even say he's eligible or not. This is where the debate ends. And this is now what would happen at this level is that you have to go again and challenge. You take another matter. Okay? Is he eligible? Because they are saying based on what they have looked at. Okay, they will not consider it. Now, that is what the court has created. Now, because of this kind of summation, the way the court ended, there is need for all those that are aggrieved to challenge the eligibility of Edgar Lungu so that there can be an express ruling on that particular matter by the court. And this is where the argument is. Now, the senior counsel, state counsel, Sangwa, is very careful with the way the court has ended. They have not told you he's eligible. And the law does not exist in a vacuum. Okay? If something has not been done, it has not been said by the court, you cannot assume that it has been done. It is the same argument those ministers that did not accept to pay back the money that they accrued, or they were paid when they decided to stay in the office after dissolution of parliament. You remember the stay of ministers? They were saying, the court did not say, this is how we should do. We should pay, and how much. Now, it is the same argument I want to use. The court has not told you. You have to go back. And that's why they had to go back. They have to be told how people should pay, when they should pay. So now, you have to go back. Because the law does not assume. Does he qualify? Let the court say, yes, he does. Is he eligible? Let the court say, yes, he's eligible. So we are not going to fill in the blanks, just like the court left it that way.
But where is, just to finalize on this one, where is the argument coming from where people are actually saying that he is eligible when the court did actually not say so?
The argument is on the merits of the debates of the councils during the proceedings. Because what forms the law is not the debate being used, even when the judge is delivering the judgment. It is that particular ruling at the end. And as you can see, that's how it ends. Not the way they are debating. If you remember very well, I said what were the issues? There were those issues that were listed. One, whether he is eligible. Two, whether... Now, on the second one, the court says we shall not consider it. So, we cannot conclude. We cannot conclude based on the argument. The argument was based also on the ingredients that border on how President Edgar Lungu came into office. But there should be an express ruling now and not filling in the blanks. That's how the law operates, unfortunately. That's how it operates. So when you go back to court, there will be more dependency on this particular judgment when you go to check his eligibility. The same court will be giving reference to this judgment. And they will, for persuasive reasons, the lawyers will be using many of the arguments based on this judgment so that the court can expressly put it in black and white that he is eligible. And that's what we are looking for.
He is eligible.
No. My argument is that I'm falling behind Council Sangwa. The court did not say he is eligible. That's how it ends.
Okay. All right.
So because what is likely to happen is this. Let us assume he stands again. How many years is he going to rule this country? How many? A term is 5 years. Another term is 5 years. A person is allowed to run for 2 terms if they stand in the first term of the first time. So how many? If he's going to rule this country for more than 10 years, does the Constitution provide for that? Was it to be lacuna? It is silent. Does it provide for more than 10 years, ruling for more than 10 years? So this also be dependent on men and women of integrity at the Constitutional Court. Are we willing to interpret the Constitution in a manner that will create a constitutional crisis? A constitutional crisis is created in this case where you say he's eligible, then he ends up ruling for more than 10 years. You create a problem. Definitely you create a problem.
Right.
Because it's the same things. Because what Paul Kagame did was he had to go for a referendum to amend the constitution so that he could qualify when he did not qualify. And the whole world is opposed to that kind of approach. Pierre Nkurunziza simply defied the constitution as well and did the same thing and went for the 3rd term. It's the same trap that President Lungu wants to fall into. But are all these successful? This is something that we can obviously discuss at length. Different lawyers have different opinions. Senior State Counsel Sangwa has thrown a debate. We can debate. The next point we can go to is the court, and the court will have to interpret.